Okay, I wonder what you used to sing in school when you were a child. For many of us, singing simple songs or hymns in assembly was our first exposure to music and collective singing. And if that sounds familiar to you, you may well find the next 20 minutes or so quite nostalgic. My next guest is a music teacher who loves the traditional old songs. In fact, James B. Partridge has put together a theatre show called Primary School Assembly Bangers. And you can go along and James will sing the old songs, and it's become a bit of a sensation. So I've walked down the studio corridor here, out of our normal studio, and I'm standing by the Elton John piano. We need to just hear a note just to make sure. That's an Elton note right there. James is going to play some of these wonderful songs, and people are loving hearing them again. I would love to know which song you would forever associate with your primary school days. vine@bbc.co.uk is the email. Please include your phone number so we can call you back. Text us 88291. You can WhatsApp us on the long number as well. So James Partridge, hi.
Hello.
So what was it that gave you the idea to actually do this?
So a friend of mine was getting married, and we were thinking of what songs we sang at school together. And so we were sat at the pub and we made this list of songs and kind of forgot about it. Then I went into school and I found this old book which was Come and Praise. It's one of the books that we used to sing from. And I opened up the contents page and it had, my mind just kind of exploded with all these memories. So we had, All Things Bright and Beautiful, Water of Life, Morning Has Broken, Autumn Days, all of these classics. And then I started teaching online during lockdown, of course. And I thought it would be a good idea to put up some kind of educational content on YouTube to help my pupils learn a bit of singing. And then I found TikTok. Someone said, oh, why don't you set up a TikTok page? And I thought, okay, let's give it a go. And I made this top 10 of my favourite primary school assembly bangers, I called it.
I think I've got the top 10 here. Yeah. And I'm sort of just, I don't know if they're all the numbers 1 to 10 or whether they're not in any particular order, but my goodness, when you say he's got the whole world in his hands,
yes,
I'm there.
Yes.
Can you just do that?
Yes. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. And that's got about 10 verses, I think, with all the actions.
We've got some backing singers here, have we not?
We do.
Just about 4 of the, I won't say the BBC singers, but the Radio 2 singers. And you've also, I think, essentially revived Give Me Oil in My Lamp.
Yes.
Could you do that?
As long as they can sing with me and help me out.
Let me move back and they can do it.
Well, I want you to sing as well.
Well, I will, yeah.
Here we go. So this is the introduction. Give me oil in my lamp, keep me burning. Give me oil in my lamp, I pray. Give me oil in my lamp, keep me burning. Keep me burning till the break of day. Sing Hosanna, sing Hosanna, sing Hosanna to the King of Kings. Sing Hosanna, sing Hosanna, sing Hosanna to the King.
Now with this you get misbehaviour, don't you?
Yes, absolutely.
So what happens with that chorus?
So the chorus finishes, sing Hosanna to the King, and then the naughty ones sat on the bench at the back will go, of kings. And then the teacher's like, shut up.
What else, misbehaviour-wise?
He's got the whole world in his pants.
He's got the whole word in his pants. Is there one where you shout the word naked?
Yes, yes.
Go and do that.
There was one which was, when I needed a neighbour, were you there? Were you there? When I needed a neighbour, were you there? And then verse 3 was very special because it went, I was cold, I was naked, and then you had everyone shouting the word naked.
Okay. Yeah, because we did Onward Christian Soldiers at school, and the whole school would go, Onward Christian Soldiers, and the teachers went mad. Yeah. But that's part of it, isn't it? Part of the joy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's some tunes that if they get wheeled out in assembly, then there's no going back from it, because it just becomes absolute carnage in the school hall.
What, such as what?
There was one that goes, you shall go out with joy and be led forth with peace. And it kind of repeats over and over again and gets faster and faster. I don't know if anyone listening sang this one at school, but by the end it was going so fast. You shall go out with joy and be led forth. And then all the teachers were kind of bopping their heads. The kids sat at the back were stamping their feet. But it was pure chaos. There's no going back from that. It's kind of like
they're quite churchy, aren't they, actually?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them are obviously kind of based on religious songs or based on gospel songs. But the funny thing is with a lot of these songs is that they've kind of permeated their way into popular consciousness. So you've got songs like When the Saints Go Marching In. We used to sing it at school.
Of course.
And then now it's sung, you know, at rugby matches, football matches, all of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you've got Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, all those kinds of songs. And you kind of think, how and why is this happening? Why are people singing these at football stadiums? And you think, actually, probably the last time they sang as a community or sang together was probably at school. So a lot of those football chants are based on songs we sang at school.
Have we got anything else for the choir here to sing?
Yes. Okay, we've got another song. It's not as well known. It's called Magic Penny. I'd love to know if people know this one at home. If you do, sing along. It goes something like this. Here we go. Love is something if you give it away, give it away, give it away. Love is something if you give it away, you end up having more. It's just like a magic penny, hold it tight and you won't have any. Lend it, spend it and you'll have so many, they'll roll all over the floor. For love is something if you give it away, give it away, give it away. Love is something if we give it away, we end up having more. There we go.
Absolutely fantastic. So the show is called Primary School Assembly Bangers.
Yes.
You can find it online. And if we go, we will see you. You'll essentially be the teacher, right? And you'll lead us.
The show's kind of a love letter to those school days and those, you know, how we sang at school. And it's kind of I tell a story throughout it, transitioning through the years and through the school year of the summer holidays, the Harvest Festival bangers, and might actually have one or two Christmas songs as well.
How brilliant. Well, thank you very much indeed for joining us, James B. Partridge. It's Primary School Assembly Bangers. We love that. We're back in the studio now. James has left his piano. He's here with us. And yeah, maybe you can take a couple of calls about this stuff. The Primary School Bangers at Spandau Ballet. Neil in Rugby says, when you mentioned Primary School Bangers, I searched the internet for a song that we used to sing, but I could only remember the lyric, and a jug of red wine. Is it called Wind in the Willows? I've got fantastic memories of the late, great Mrs. Maguire conducting us in the late 70s. It was my favourite. Do you know that one?
I've not heard that one.
Jug of red wine.
Maybe that was one that she wrote. I don't know.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Jan is in Stockport. Jan, you've got to focus on a song called Autumn Days.
Hi, yes. Hi, Jeremy and James.
Hi.
I've been a primary school teacher for over 30 years, and one of the bangers, which James has already mentioned, is Autumn Days. But there's a really strange line in it. I wonder if James knows which line I'm talking about.
Go on, test him. Go on, James.
Is it the line about jet planes fueling in midair?
Exactly. I mean, the line goes, jet planes meeting in the air to be refueled, all these things I love so well.
Right.
Well, how many of us have seen jet planes refueling in the air? Not many. So at one of my schools, the head teacher absolutely loved the song but hated that line. So we tried to think of a replacement line for it that would be more relevant and appropriate, but we actually couldn't come up with a thing. So I wondered whether you could come up with a line, James, to replace it, or whether anyone else has.
Let's just get it in context. James,
Sure.
Sing that sequence.
So it goes, jet planes meeting in the air to be refueled, all these things I love so well. So the song's all about being grateful for things, and actually I know why that line was written. So the composer was a woman called Estelle White, and she taught at a primary school in Birmingham, I think. And apparently, this is just what I've heard, I think she wrote it in the 70s or 80s, and they used to see planes refueling in midair. And it was something that they, at that school, were it was something that was quite novel for them. So they were just thankful for, I guess, technology. Possibly hasn't aged that well, that song. It's a great song, but that line.
Yeah, not particularly climate friendly, I suppose.
Really.
What would you replace it with, Jan?
Oh, we tried, but we never came up with anything. I need to have another look at it, I think. I also had one of the primary school bangers at my wedding. Does James know One More Step?
Oh, yes. That's a great one. I mentioned earlier I was coming up with songs for my friend's wedding, and that was the one we chose. So it goes, one more step along the world I go, one more step along the world I go, from the all things, that one.
Oh, lovely. So did you play that then at your friend's wedding?
I did, yeah.
And did you have it played for you then, Jan?
Yes, we had it at our wedding, and it was many moons ago now, and we're divorced. But I guess that's another of the steps along the way.
Well, yeah,
yeah. But quite a few of my class came to the wedding, so that was nice for them too.
Brilliant. Well, thank you, Jem. We'll have to get thinking about that Jet Planes line. Amanda in Heysham says, my favourite was a song called When a Knight Won His Spurs. Yeah, know that one?
Yeah.
When a Knight Won His Spurs. No, I don't know.
So the tune is When a Knight Won His Spurs in the Stories of Old. So that was the tune. It was one of the more traditional ones.
And she says it was the first on the hymn list at our wedding. It's interesting, people sort of importing them into their weddings. Lisa in North Lincolnshire says, I just heard James mention Magic Penny. That was my favourite. My daughter's now in reception at the old primary school I was at and has come home this week singing Lord of the Dance. That's a weird one, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a bit creepy, I always think.
Well, yeah, I mean, it tells the Easter story, right?
Yes.
But it's a great tune. And it's kind of gone through society in lots of different ways. That was actually written by the same guy that did One More Step Along the World I Go as well.
Okay, just do a little bit of Lord of the Dance.
So, dance then wherever you may be, I am the Lord of the dance, said he. Yeah.
There was something about being, stake driven through the devil's heart. Or it gets a bit morbid.
Yeah. So they whipped and stripped and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
I wasn't ready for that as a child.
No, it's quite
Connor in Edinburgh says, my favourite assembly song at Woodhead Primary School was played every year at the primary 7 leaving ceremony. One more step along the world I go, still brings a smile to my face. That's obviously very, very popular. Is that in your top 10?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amanda says, my primary school headmaster, Mr. Warner, was a wonderful man. He used to play the boogie woogie on the piano in the hall. It cheered me up at a difficult time. That's good when your skill with the piano is amazing, James. It's so valuable, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think it's something that we were so lucky to have at school. We had a teacher that could play the piano. You don't necessarily get it as much anymore, but it's fine if they can sing on backing tracks. To be honest, it's just great to get singing back in schools again after COVID.
Lisa is in Westcliff-on-Sea. You had a teacher called Mr. Salmons, Lisa.
I did, and I've got some really, really happy and heartwarming memories of a Tuesday morning. We used to have hymn practice, and he'd be playing the piano, and then he used to sort of make things a little bit different for us sometimes. And 2 songs in particular that I remember, there was Kumbaya, and he used to let us sing Cucumber, my lord, cucumber.
What's a nice
one
man?
Of the verses.
Yeah.
And there was another song as well, which was called Water of Life, which used to go, and the tune was the same as Rupert the Bear.
Yes.
So he used to let us sing one chorus of Rupert, Rupert the Bear, Jesus. I apologise for my singing, it's not good. But I loved singing at school, and I my only thing was I never got to use the overhead projector, and that always bothered me.
Yeah, well, the overhead projector was a big part of things, wasn't it? And they went on for much longer than they had any right to, really.
Yeah, I mean, I used them at school in the 90s, and the best thing about the overhead projector was that you needed an overhead projector monitor, and this would be someone putting on the words backwards. They would have these acetate sheets of all the lyrics. Some of the words would be wrong. There'd be thumbprints all over them. They'd gone backwards. So...
Brilliant, Mr. Salmons. I'm glad we mentioned him, and Kumbaya. And that reminds me, Michael rowed the boat ashore. Is that one you've done?
Yeah, I haven't done that one in one of my lists, but it's a great tune. That's another one of the gospel tunes,
Michael rowed the boat ashore. Hallelujah. Yes. Mandy Evans in Audlam in Cheshire. Hi, Mandy.
Hi, Jeremy.
Now, we've mentioned some of your favourite bangers already, haven't we?
You have, yes.
What have we not mentioned? What have we left out?
I switched my radio off because I was waiting, so I've missed a little bit. But
don't worry, we did Lord of the Dance, yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Daisies are our silver, buttercups are gold.
Daisies are our silver, James?
Not one that I've sung, unfortunately.
He's stumped on that. Sing it to us. Go on, sing it.
I don't know if I can
Here we
do
go.
that.
Here we go.
Right.
No, I'm not
don't
sure
worry.
about that. I got a rather dulcet tones now.
Listen, I've got the same.
My younger years.
Okay.
Okay, I'll try.
Go on.
Daisies are our silver, buttercups are gold. This is all the treasure we can have or hold.
Beautiful song.
That was great.
That's good. You nailed that.
I'll add it to my show.
Do you know it, James?
No, I've not heard that one. That's the first time.
Yeah,
She's done everything. He's done everything to give you that. And Jerusalem, did you sing Jerusalem? That's another really kind of slightly spooky one.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
And did those feet in ancient times. What's that all about, James?
Yeah, so I never sang that one at school. That was more of a kind of, it felt almost like a national anthem, right? It's sung at rugby matches. So we sang more of the kind of happy clappy ones. But that's the William Blake poem, right? Jerusalem.
Yeah, I think it is. And it's famous for starting halfway through a question.
Yes.
You know, and did those feet in ancient times, ... It's interesting you say you don't. Yeah, maybe it's a bit too grown up for primary school.
Well, I think it might depend what school you go to, because every school that had songs in assembly, it would pretty much be down to the teacher what you sang. So we sang a mixture of kind of folk songs, gospel songs, some of these songs that you might hear in church. You might have a Beatles song here and there. Yeah.
Man, did you sing Jerusalem at school?
We did.
Right.
Yeah, but I was at school in the 60s. So we sang a lot of very, hymns that our parents and our grandparents would have sung, really.
Yeah.
They don't sing them now. My grandson is 7, and I asked him if they sang We Plough the Fields and Scatter at Harvest, and he said, no, Nanny, we're singing this silly song about a misshapen cauliflower, and I don't like it. I'm not going to sing.
Well, the vegetable songs are great. There's a lot of them.
The funny thing about this item is they've changed less than we would ever have expected, James.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, because a lot of the ones that I remember singing were also sung in the 60s, 70s. That's why it's been so popular putting up these videos.
Julian Norwich says, I'd forgotten about these songs and I just sang every word of them. I've got no idea where it came from. Linda texts and says, we had our son's christening in 2019. We had 3 classic primary school bangers. The congregation sang their hearts out and even started clapping. The vicar was in awe. He said it was the best singing he'd ever heard. It's all coming back. Dean Stafford says, my memorable one is we sow the seeds and scatter. Plough the fields and scatter.
Plough the field,
yeah, okay. But mucking up the words is a big part of childhood.
Oh yeah.
Any other little sabotages pupils get up to?
We sang a song which is called Cross Over the Road, My Friend, and we changed the words to a 10-ton truck comes around the bend. Your life is about to end, cross over the road. Those are, we were puerile year 5s at the time, but those are the ones we sang.
That sounds like a song by the Smiths. Yeah. Matt in Norfolk says, the song I always associate with my early school days was called The Golden Cockerel, which my headmistress, Mrs. Wilkins, said was her favourite. Maybe not explore that. Barbara texts and says, we used to have to sing All Things Bright and Beautiful, but there was a very poor piano player. That's probably number 1, isn't it? All Things Bright and Beautiful.
It was actually in my original top 10, and I took it out because I felt like it was almost too traditional.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want something that was too church-based necessarily. This was because it's about the primary school memories. But there's a few different tunes to that one as well, so I'd be interested to know what people remember as the tune for that.
Sarah in Northants says, the head of my primary school, Mrs. Parker, used to play the classic upright piano in our assemblies. We used to sing a song about a lass from Lancashire called Sarah, and I remember every single word because my name is Sarah, and everyone would look at me, and it was so embarrassing. Do you know that one?
It sounds like a folk song, but there is something amazing about music and memory, because these songs people wouldn't have heard for decades, and you say, I can't remember what I had for dinner last night, but I can remember the songs to us, the lyrics to a song I haven't sung in 30 years,
Thank you, James. James B.
Thanks so
Partridge,
much.
Primary School Assembly Bangers.